We are legends.
Hello and welcome to We RRR Legends, the unofficial podcast for Deathstroke Legends Mobile. I am Slowbeast, and with me as always is Hate Mail. We have a lot to talk about today, so let's get right into it.
Breaking news.
First of all, I would like to personally apologize for the lack of a show last week. It was entirely my fault.
Just when I think you can't possibly get any dumber, you go and do something like this. And totally redeem yourself.
Thanks for that, Hate Mail. I really needed that at this point. But let's go on to the news of the week. What do you got?
Well, there wasn't anything too exciting happening this week, but one thing I did want to mention was on the official forums, which not a lot of people go to anyway, they made a new mobile site with the worst color scheme you could ever imagine.
Yeah, I was looking at it. It's really hard to read anything on it.
Yeah, if you're colorblind, I have a feeling you couldn't read it at all. But
That's a really good point. I didn't even think about that.
if you click at the bottom right, go full mobile, it goes back to the original way. Just thought I'd
Oh, I
mention
didn't even
it.
see that. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I'll have to check that out. All right, so Superman is on sale in the sale room. What do you call that thing?
The shop.
The shop. That's what I was looking for. Shop. So Superman's on sale in the shop for 9,000 gems, 100 to 155 fragments. It's a really good deal. And so is Reverse Flash. He's 2,500 gems for 25 to 50 shards.
Well, the 9K gems for 100, 150, I don't personally think that's a good deal, especially when he's in the Alliance shop and you can, granted, if you wanted to get him sooner, he is one of the best characters in the game, in my opinion. He works so well in this meta. Stop the
Yeah.
Baby Lobo.
Yep.
He's a great character, but that's kind of a steep price. If you don't have him at all, you don't have him unlocked, and you got some gems
Might
to
be
burn,
worth it.
might be worth it, but I just keep farming Alliance missions, especially with the Alliance missions being so easy to get a ton of Alliance shards. Just keep buying them. You'll have them in no time.
Or if someone has your RNG luck.
Well, you can buy them without buying the packs. Wait till he shows up frequently, so just buy them. I'm trying to get them
Oh,
legendary
I see
5.
what you're saying. The single where you get the 3 or 5. Yeah, I've been targeting certain players in that. Every time I see Superman, I always buy those.
Yeah, so that's what I would do. Reverse Flash, that deal is actually pretty good.
Okay.
The price per shard.
Yeah, I guess it's what is it? 250 per shard? No,
Yeah.
100 per shard.
Math is not a good thing to do on a podcast,
It's 100 per shard.
but it is one of the better price points. So
Yeah,
especially if you get over the
it'd be
20.
100 per shard if you get the 25. If you get the 50, obviously it's better than that.
Yeah.
The Aquamoa event. We started the second event of this month for Aquamoa. What are your thoughts on him that you've had now that you've had a few weeks to use him?
I kind of have the same opinion I had before. He's a decent character, and if you can get all the crit ups, he's pretty good. I want to test him with Cyborg. I was gonna gear him out over the weekend, and I just ran out of time. Um, so I'm gonna try to finish him out tomorrow, and then see how he pairs with him because I want to test him with Steppenwolf as well. They both make a good pairing. One of the things I've
Right.
seen people doing with Steppenwolf with Cyborg is Steppenwolf does the hit chance up, so you can use Cyborg's charged cannon or his third ability.
His nuke.
Yeah, his nuke on turn 1. So that
That
opens
is pretty nice.
that opens some possibilities.
That thing hits like a truck.
But Aquamoa, he's not a bad character. He doesn't fit into this meta at all. So he's a character that he can nuke greens down really easily. He's not a bad character at all, but against Destro, Harley Quinn, Lobo, he doesn't really have a place at the moment. He's a character. I'd get his shards, hang on to him. I
Yeah,
don't know.
absolutely.
I
You
don't.
never know who they're going to rework or when the meta will change and he'll be
Yeah,
relevant.
I don't think he needs a rework at all. I think it's just if it becomes green dominant again, he'll suddenly be a good character.
Right. All right. So, what do you think about the grind for Steppenwolf shards in PvP this week and the never-ending Deathstroke teams?
It was painful as always. It's not even so much. It's funny because when I was playing today or the other day, it's not so much that it's difficult. It gets boring seeing the same team after same team, but those like 10, 15K teams that you can beat, they're not a problem. You just kill them in the correct order and you're okay. But it's just they all revive, and then you have to kill them again. And if there's Grundy, they revive over and over and over. And
Yeah.
matches just
Yep.
take artificially long. even if you have anti-resers, sometimes it takes longer than it should. And if you're doing the alliance missions, which I have been, you don't have very many anti-resers on your team, so it takes a long time. That's the boring part.
Yeah. I'm just looking forward to the fact that it's Flash this week, and I'm not really gonna have to grind PvP that hard.
I actually grinded PvP a lot yesterday and today, testing out Steppenwolf, which when we get to the character analysis, I have a lot of new information I will share with you about him.
Okay. Yeah, and it is good to note that Steppenwolf is your +5 character for the alliance missions this week. Um, like to give a kudos to the guys at Reddit. They're at 4,000 subscribers, so we've got a community growing largely on Reddit there.
Yeah, I was really excited to see that. I'm glad to see so many people have joined Reddit. And I mean, every time I look, there's never been less than 100 people online at a given time. So the Reddit community is definitely hopping. Great job to you guys who run it over there, Ogre and Doom and DPO427, I think it is. 0427, yeah.
All right, it's time once again for some in-depth character analysis with hate. Who are you taking a look at it for us this week?
Well, this week, obviously, we have to talk about Steppenwolf.
Got to talk about Steppenwolf.
I know in the last podcast, I think when I just unlocked him, actually, the last podcast was lost, but I
The
talked.
podcast that nobody heard.
Yeah, the podcast that nobody heard. I wasn't real high on Steppenwolf. If you've read my posts for a little while there, I didn't see the value in him. I didn't think he was even as good against Harley as Terra or Batman TDK. But I've come full circle on him. In the right teams, he is actually a really good character. He works really well against Harley Quinn teams. His kit, I originally was testing him as an anti-evasion or a crit-based kit. And while he does work in both of those capacities, that's not his true strength. That's just more of a bonus for him. Where I find huge value in him is the turn meter up. And for the legendary order, I've completely changed. I originally took 3 first, which 3 can be good. So first I was very heartbroken that I took that first and that it was a terrible choice. But now I'm starting to think that it's pretty good. But the first 2 abilities you really want to take are his 4th ability and his first. The 4th ability allows him to get the turn meter up along with the character that if they crit, they get a turn meter up. And then his basic can also give him additional turn meter up. So if you're watching the YouTube video version of this, you'll see matches where I'll have characters go 2 times in a row, or you'll have Steppenwolf go, the character go, they'll go again, and then Steppenwolf goes again. So you start getting some of that chain turn meter up, and it works extremely well. His third ability is dangerous because if you use it and he evades, he can sometimes kill Baby Lobo, so you do have to be careful about that. I have it, so but a lot of times I've found certain teams that it just doesn't matter. I don't even care because once the crit and turn meter up chains get going, he can actually kick some butt. A team that I've started using that is extremely effective is Cheetah Lead, Wonder Woman, Defender of Justice, Steppenwolf, and Dr. Poison. Where Dr. Poison, obviously the anti-res and the bleeds for Deathstroke, but then the Cheetah when you give her the turn meter up, you can use the buff on Steppenwolf next. Then Wonder Woman, I just use her AoE, and if she misses on Harley Quinn, if you're facing her, I don't care because the miss procs Steppenwolf. He does his AoE, and then you can just kind of start a big chain of turn meter up and bleeds. And even if Baby Lobo's there, I usually just ignore it.
Hmm.
I also will have a separate video, I may have a couple of them in here too, but using today's Alliance mission characters, which is Hal Jordan, Steppenwolf, Wonder Woman, Defender of Justice, and I think in the 4th slot, I used Catwoman, yeah. And that team does extremely well.
I saw that video.
Yeah, that team works really well because I would just kill everybody off, do my best to keep Catwoman alive, and then remove all of the buffs from Deathstroke. And
Right, it makes it so much easier. You just go ahead and give him all his buffs, but then you can remove them.
while that doesn't have as many synergies as the other team, you still get enough turn meter up from Steppenwolf that it makes him a lot more effective. I didn't like him before because I hadn't taken his 4 yet. Or actually, I just taken 3 and, yeah, I took 3 and 4, but I hadn't taken his 1 yet. So he wasn't getting the crit speed up bonus. It makes a big difference. So my legendary order would either be 41253 or 41352, which you'll also see in the show notes, depending on what type of team you want to use. All in all, he's actually a pretty good character. He's worth gearing out. He does work great against evasion characters. Using him in red alerts was where I started to see his value because red alerts characters like Siren and Huntress, they only need one evasion and they seem to dodge everything. So he does. He's a fun character after all.
Okay, so liking Steppenwolf now. What other character did you have for this week?
Once again, a lost episode character. I won't go in as much detail, but Scarecrow was the PvP character. I want to say we just finished him. He's one of those characters I feel is underrated. A lot of people don't use him. That team I was just talking about with Steppenwolf with Cheetah, I'd been able to clear probably 3 boards right in a row. I mean, lightning fast. And then I ran into an Alliance teammate, Jimmo, who has a Deathstroke team. It was Deathstroke lead, MJ, Wonder Woman, DOJ, and Cheetah, and that team was nasty. And actually, I couldn't beat it with that Steppenwolf team. So I broke out a Scarecrow team. I did use Steppenwolf in it, but I had Scarecrow, MJ, Steppenwolf, and Livewire, and I was able to take out that team just because Scarecrow had all the evasions. Scarecrow is one of those characters that if you're not facing somebody who has anti-evasion, you can win most matches without too much trouble because they won't hit you, and he'll keep counterattacking, he'll keep stunning. The legendary order I like for him is 3-1-4-5-2. First, you want to take the ability to stun because that's where his core kit is. I like him as leader more than anything else. I don't want to use him outside of leader very often. There are some teams I've seen that people use him for that don't have him in leader. With, for example, they'll do a Captain Cold, Scarecrow, Mirror Master, Reverse Flash, or Killer Frost team. I haven't geared out Mirror Master, Killer Frost, which I love the idea of those speed down teams. Because remember, Scarecrow on his leadership ability upgrade, he gives two speed down as well. So I've seen that team in action. I fought it once a long time ago, and it kicked the crap out of me. And I just was super impressed with it. So Mirror Master and Killer Frost have been high on my list of characters I want to do. I want to weasel them in soon. Probably won't be able to until after next month drops because the new characters will hit and I'll have to gear them out. But they're cool. They're neat characters. They pair well with Scarecrow. Right now, the characters that most people have, most people seem to have Harley Quinn MJ. She pairs awesome with Scarecrow. They were made to go together. Livewire pairs great with them. Siren pairs great with them. So those are characters that are a little more common that most people seem to have. And you can make a great team with that setup. And there'll be a bunch of videos in the YouTube version of this that show those teams in action. You can really take on any team.
All right, I'll have to try to get Scarecrow out there and see what I can do with him, but I have him severely underdeveloped. Hey.
Hey.
I'm Brennan.
I'm Dale, but you have to call me Dragon.
You have to call me Nighthawk. All right, so finally we have the much anticipated gear farming show.
Oh crap! Was I supposed to have that ready today?
Please tell me you're joking.
I'm joking.
Yep. So you were able to finally crunch some numbers, and you had some help from Lootboy 9000, Ogrebarbarian, who previously had some posts, as well as DaPingman. DaPingman.
I think that's how you pronounce it. He's on Discord. Lootboy 9000, I don't even think he's aware I was making this, but I realized I was using a lot of his spreadsheets, which after doing some research, realized that was his. So big shout out to you, Lootboy. Your math definitely made this so much easier.
And just looking at Ogrebarbarian's post, he had a great post that broke down the numbers, what you can expect. And it seems like what he found was that you would get about 135 mats from the upgrade event if you're looking for one specific material, and about 38 of the same material from doing the campaign mode event, or campaign mode over and over again. The upgrade event is going to cost you essence as well as gems to refresh, and the campaign, you will earn essence while you're doing it. And obviously you're going to spend gems doing that as well. So what it seems like to me is if you have the essence, it's better to farm during the upgrade event. But if you need essence, you're going to want to have to farm during for the campaign mode, or some combination of the two. Maybe save up essence during the week, farming the campaign mode during the week and save up your essence, and then you'll have that available to do for the weekend upgrade event.
Yeah, I did a ton of math on this tested out a bunch of stuff, did my own calculations referring to Loot Boy 9000's table and DaPingman's upgraded version to Gear 11. And then after researching a bunch of stuff and looking at it, what I noticed was I always thought farming gear from normal campaigns was a more efficient to me for the cost. So I took the numbers, and I knew it would cost more overall, but I still thought it would be better. So I took one of the rarer pieces of gear. Um, let's just use, for example, the level 3 quantum field energy.
Okay.
So to go from gear 10 to gear 11 is 327 pieces, which is, a ton of pieces. Now, one of the other things I wanted to back up to is the nodes on the campaigns. Looking at Loot Boy's tables and doing my own math, I always farmed node 1 for gear level 1, node 3 for
Mm-hmm.
gear level 2, and node 5 node 5 for gear level 3,
Okay.
thinking that was the most efficient way. But after researching his table and doing some of my own math, it looks like the most efficient way of doing it for the least green essence, the least amount of gems spent, and to get the most gear drops are to farm gear node 1 and gear node 4. It will take longer on node 4, but if you need more than just a handful of one particular gear type, that will give you level 2 and level 3 gear. And then you only need to farm gear node 1 a smaller amount. So if you're
And
farming,
so basically what you're saying is that the gear, if you're doing the upgrade event for that specific piece, or any specific piece, the nodes that you want to go to are node 1 and node 4.
correct, because those node 1 will give you just the gear level 1
Mm-hmm.
gears. But
Right.
node 4 will give you level 2 and level 3.
2 and 3, right.
So unless you need, if you need like 10 or 20 of just level 3 or level 2 just to finish off a character, probably be better just to go to node 3 or node 5. But if you're looking to go take a character from 1 to 10 or 10 to 11, those are the two nodes you want to do for the best bang for the buck.
Okay. And that's going to save you, overall, is going to save you essence and gold
Right, it will save
during
you,
your farm.
it would be cheaper on essence, cheaper on gold. Now going back to should I even do that or just farm the normal campaign? On the campaign, looking at that level 3 quantum field energy, going from gear 1 to gear 11 is 327 pieces. So if
Mm-hmm.
you run that on node 4, because that's a level 3 gear, so you're going to want to go to node 4 for that, which is obviously going to be more runs than node 5, but you want to get those extra other gears, would take you a total of 156 runs. That's going to cost you just over 1.4 million green essence and roughly 5,200 gems.
Okay.
And that's all the way from gear 1 to gear 11. Now, to do this through the campaign for 327 gears, I've calculated it has roughly a 20% drop rate, which if you ran as many times as it took to get to 327 gears, you would have 30.8 million green essence. And that sounds great, but it would cost you 16,350 blue energy, which costs you a whopping 32,700 gems.
Okay.
Now you're thinking, well, if I'm spending a ton of gems, that's great. It'll get me all the green essence. But keep in mind, if you run Chapter 8 Heroic fully for roughly 1,400 gems, if you add in what you would earn throughout the day, you're going to earn 1.3 million green essence. If you take that 1,400 gems and then do the Heroic every day, using that same 32,700 gems, you would actually earn 32.3 million green essence. So you would earn just over 2 million more green essence. And then if you minus out the 1.4 million green essence that it cost you to run the event, you actually earn the same amount of essence in the end. If you just run the Chapter 8 Heroic and then spend the gems and essence on doing the nodes.
Okay. So make sure I understand exactly what you're saying. So you're saying it's better for me to run the Chapter 8 Heroic, the full chapter, for 14,000 gems.
1,400.
1,400 gems, correction. That's going to earn me 1,386,000 green essence.
Yeah, and that's not including the what you would earn from doing the legendary missions or anything like that too, because remember you're gonna get an extra 300,000 green essence from that.
Oh, that's true. That's very true. And then if I do that every day, I do the heroic chapter fully. That's going to cost me 32,700 gems, and would net me.
Well, no, I just took that in comparison because if you wanted to get 327 pieces of gear to go from gear
Mhm.
1 to gear 11, that would cost you 32,700 gems.
Oh, okay, I see.
So the 32,700 gems, I just divided that into the 1,400 gems it costs you to run Chapter 8 Heroic in one day, because that's 30. That's running each node 3 times. There's 12 nodes, so
Uh-huh.
it's just over 1,400 gems is
Okay.
the rough cost. Now, obviously, if you're free to play or minimal pay, you're not going to do that every day, but
No.
you're not going to want to spend 32,000 gems just to take one piece of gear from Gear 1 to Gear 11 just to get 327 pieces. That's not even including any of the other gears. Now, keep in mind you will get other gears as you're doing it, but most of the
Right.
time they're not the rare ones. Where when you're doing the event nodes, you are getting the rare ones at the same time. So
Mm-hmm.
the amount of gems it would cost you to gear out a single character for from Gear 1 to Gear 11 on all pieces, I'm just my guess because I haven't done the math on this part would be over 100,000 gems. Now
Okay.
you're going to have probably 90 million green essence in the end, but it still would have been cheaper for you to just farm the heroic missions every day and then do the events on the weekend.
So your recommendation is try to farm as many heroic missions as you can every day,
Yeah, if you
and
could.
then do the upgrade events on the weekend.
Now I know some of the free to play players save up blue essence for the day before, and then they can do it every other day to get the extra 300,000 on the heroic.
The blue energy,
Yeah,
I
the blue
believe you
energy,
mean.
excuse me.
Right.
Another example, and keep in mind, that one, the level 3 ones have a much lower percentage gear dropping. So another example I want to give to you is let's take a little bit more common one, which is the level 2 Astro Force energy, which you need a 398 of them to go from gear 1 to gear 11.
Okay.
The drop rate on the normal campaign is much more attractive. It's 70% drop rate as opposed to 20.
Okay. Right.
So on this one, you would farm node 2. You would need to run the event 36 times, and I'm sorry, that's not Astro Force level 2, it's level 1, excuse me. You'd farm the event 36 times, cost you 270,000 green essence at 1,200 gems. If you run this in the normal campaign, it would cost you a total of 4,144 blue energy, which equates to 8,288 gems. That
Okay.
that will earn you roughly 5 million green essence. Now, if you minus out the 1,200 gems from the 8,288, which was what it would cost you to run it 36 times on
Mm-hmm.
gear 1, you would have roughly 7,088 gems. So you divide that by 1,400. You run the heroic missions. That's going to be 6.9 million green essence. So you're still earning more from doing the Chapter 8 heroic campaign and then running the event.
All right. So just to get this straight, your recommendation would be run the heroic, chapter 8 heroic. If you're free to play, run it as many times as you can. Obviously, save up, try to run it as many times as you can and get as high as you can. That's going to get you the essence. It's going to get you some of the gear you need, and then save your gems to do the your actual gear farming for the upgrade event.
Correct. And use
And if
node
you're
1 and node 4.
node 1 and node 4, that's going to be the most efficient way to farm gear for your character to go from level 1 to gear level 11.
Now, the only caveat to all of this is that the XP meta agents. But when I look at the XP meta agents, the ones you get from the events are going to be the character specific. So they give you I think it's 3 times the amount as a white XP meta agent, the physical mystic, and so it actually washes out to almost the same whenever you look at how much you're
All right.
spending.
So
So
you're not gaining from either one
yeah.
any advantage on the upgrading for the actual character upgrade.
Now, if there's some math heads out there that can tell me different, but after going through a ton of stuff, this seemed like this was the most efficient way. There may be a rare or super common gear mat that may be worth a little bit more, but based on everything I tested, this seems to be the right way to do it.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Hopefully everyone understood that.
And I'm going to have links to the spreadsheets, Loot Boys, DaPingmans, and I did a little bit editing to DaPingmans just to total the Gear 11. And so we'll put that in the show notes. It'll be a Google Drive. We'll make public to everyone. So if you want to check out and look at the numbers yourself and see, and also it'll be a quick guide to know if you're saving up for a character that's about to come out, something that I try to do so I have the gear ready when the character drops. is
Right.
I look at how many pieces of each thing I need, and then once I get to that point, I stop farming and just hang on to it until they come out.
Yeah, that's a good thing to think about. Obviously, we got new characters that are going to be announced and coming out for next month. So depending on what we project that they're going to be, you may want to get some gear ready if you can. If you don't have any characters you're currently trying to gear out, that's a really good point.
And a lot of times, whenever they do the teaser, they'll do the color of what affinity they're going to be. So you know right away what affinity it's going to be, and then you can just stock up on that one.
All right, and like you said, we're gonna put in the show notes links to the spreadsheets as well as Ogrebarbarian's guide, and you guys can peruse that yourself and see if you come up with the same thing that we did. But I think that pretty much covers the gear farming for me.
Yep, that's all I had there.
All hail Deathstroke.
All right, let's get into some reckless speculation. What character would you like to see next month?
Well, the character I've been hoping for, and I know our alliance mate World Bear, the only character he'll bust out his wallet for and break free to play is going to be. I really want to see Starfire. She's one of my favorite comic book characters, and I think it would be awesome to pair her with Red Hood. We'd have the Christmas themes since she has a lot of the green energy powers, and Red Hood going with the green and red. Who would you like to see?
That's a really good point. That would be interesting with the green and red. I like that. I actually was going through because my DC knowledge is not super great, so I was going through looking for a good character that I wanted to see, and I came up with someone from the Lantern universe. He showed up he actually was on Injustice, because they had the whole Injustice teaser at the end of the Justice League movie.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see the Gambler. His skill set was that he was obviously super lucky, so I could see some evasion type stuff there, not to mention the fact that he was a master of disguise, so we could see maybe some mimicking of characters on the opposing team or something. He automatically takes the buffs of a character on another team. I don't know, some interesting stuff you could do with that.
Yeah, that would be cool. You might have to edit out that spoiler for the movie though. And then
Screw that. Everybody knows that Injustice was teased.
a character I've been wanting to see for a long time, and I think would be perfect for an anti-meta, would be Larfleeze, who, as everybody knows, is the orange.
Oh yes!
The
Oh
orange
my
lantern.
gosh!
He can have the mine ability and
Oh, that'd be
steal
great.
Deathstroke's buff, so then you'd be
Not
happy
to mention
buff
that
him
he'd
up.
just be a great looking character.
Oh, he would look awesome. He could be awesome. You could give him
Oh
just a
yeah,
weak ability that steals all, basically like Katana, because I do love
yeah.
Katana.
Katana basically steals. Yeah. So if only the difference would be if he stole the entire.
Yeah, Katana only
Oh
steals a portion, where if he stole the entire stack, I mean that would fix the meta immediately, especially if it was an
oh
ability
yeah.
that he used, just
Well, it wouldn't fix it. It would change it. Everyone would have him on their team.
well, not only that, but I think it would slow down the Deathstroke chain. That would be an awesome
Yeah.
character. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the rework characters, I'd made you listen to that Deathstroke Demystified, which I don't know if they didn't advertise it much, but that's the official DC Legends mobile podcast. They aired it
Hmm.
back in September. I don't remember them even announcing it, be honest with you. I don't know how I missed that.
Yeah. I obviously
But one of the
wasn't really into the game at that point, so I was not aware of it either.
But as everybody knows, when they listen to their podcasts, it's they love their chemo. They just go crazy about
They
them.
really love chemo, and I mean, they obviously pointed out a lot of the things that you have pointed out as far as counters to Deathstroke that we've already figured out. But yeah, they don't think there's a problem with the Deathstroke meta.
And granted, that was back in September, so I wonder how they feel now. I honestly
Yeah.
believe that they have a schedule of characters, and they kind of mentioned that in there. And I think they anticipated Harley Quinn and Evasion with Scarecrow. I think they thought Scarecrow was going to take off, but for whatever reason, he never really took hold. And
Lobo.
yeah, and they even mentioned Baby Lobo. They're like, "Oh, you guys should gear him up," but yet they
Yeah,
haven't done
yeah,
anything about it. Um,
yeah. You guys are playing it all wrong.
but I think that a rework character next month wouldn't shock me if it's Chemo. If they had I mean he's green character, so I remember last year they tried to do a red and green theme, so we
For
could
Christmas.
see Chemo reworked, and he would be a good if they reworked him right. I mean he's a bleeder, he's energy. I could see him potentially being a threat to this meta if they do him right. And as much as they like him, I wouldn't be surprised if he's a character next month as a rework.
All right. So then what red character would they rework? Maybe Lex Luthor?
Yeah, Lex Luthor would be awesome. I wouldn't mind seeing either of the Lexes reworked. That's just a thought. They could rework him, or they,
Or one of your favorites, Black Canary.
yeah, Black Canary would be a great rework. I don't know if they want to do physical next month, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if it's,
Well, I was just going on your red and green.
yeah.
If they did your theory about the red and green, I was thinking maybe a green character and a red character, but
Yeah, that could be the case. I mean, I would love to see a Lantern month if they did Larfleeze. They
I would
reworked
love to see a Lantern
Sinestro,
too.
but I don't know if that's gonna fit the Christmas theme. They could rework Jessica Cruz. There's a green.
Oh,
She could
yeah.
use it. So, they could do Riddler as a green character as a new one. He'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd like to see a Riddler. There's so much from the Bat universe though that I don't know, like they need us to go into, like you said, Green Lantern.
Well,
Um,
they could do Atrocious and Jessica Cruz rework. That'd be awesome. Then put Larfleeze in.
uh,
That
now I just want to see your game. Can you make a game for me?
that would be awesome.
All right. Just a warning, from this point on, nothing but spoilers for the new Justice League movie. If you haven't seen it, please go ahead and end the episode here.
Oh wait, you don't want to end the episode because they have to hear about our Thanksgiving special next month.
All right, well, let's talk about that real quick.
Okay.
So, next week's episode, or sorry, not next week, this Thursday, we're going to have a special episode for you guys.
It's going to be our Thanksgiving special, and we're going to be giving you all a big special thanks for listening.
Yep. Now, we have been doing this podcast for a long time, and I've got a back catalog of literally minutes upon minutes of show that I'm going to be taking highlights and best moments from.
It does feel like we've been doing this podcast forever. You know, there's been some up and downs throughout the pod. And we felt it was a good time to reflect upon those moments. So check it out Thursday. You won't be disappointed. And with that, we'll go into the spoilers. So if you haven't seen the Justice League movie, please turn off your podcast and also make sure you donate to our Patreon page before we talk about that.
All right, so Justice League movie. What are your thoughts?
I actually really liked it. I was surprised at how much I liked it.
I
And
really enjoyed it too.
it was a great movie. I actually think I might see it again this weekend 'cause
See,
I
Ray,
wanted to see it actually.
you're going to see it a second time.
Yeah.
I got to tell you guys, hey, I've known Hate Mail for a long time, and for him to go see a movie a second time is unheard of.
And I know I'm a little bit of a fanboy here, so I mean it wasn't the best movie of all time, but it was quite
It
good.
had a few problems, but for a DC movie, obviously we went in with a very low expectation, and
Overperformed.
it overperformed my anticipations. Absolutely, I think that's a great way to say it.
I mean, I was
So
blown away by Wonder Woman, and I don't know if this was quite Wonder Woman level, but it was right up there in my opinion. Flash stole the show though. He was fantastic.
Flash stole every scene he was in. I can't wait to see the Flash movie. I mean, you and I have talked before about the whole, why would they create a new Flash when they've got the TV version of Flash that's, already established character, but they were right. This Flash is great. I enjoyed every scene he was in. What'd you think about Cyborg?
Cyborg was pretty cool. I mean, he fit the character really well, but
He
for whatever reason, Cyborg's never been a character I've been that excited for. But they did a good job with him.
I think I can already see, there was rumors that it was going to be a Cyborg / Flash movie. I can already see some of the problems that Cyborg's going to be having. He's fighting with the program inside him, so that'll be interesting to see what they do with that. What'd you think about Aquamoa?
Aquamoa was a great character. He wasn't I liked Mira a lot. The
Oh,
brief
that
period.
whole scene with Mira, I was definitely excited about that. I'm ready for the Aquaman movie just because of that scene.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be the show stealer, but because Flash and Wonder Woman, of course, she always, has a great role. And,
Yeah.
The other characters did so much more. And then since we already given you your spoiler, Superman was fantastic in this one. He was so much better than he was in
This
previous
this is
movies.
my favorite Superman. If they could, they don't need to make any more Superman by himself movies. This was great. Just put him in everybody else's movies.
Yeah, I mean,
He's,
he was such a badass in this show.
I mean, yeah, oh, absolutely. He saved the day. He felt like Superman. He, I don't know. He's everything I expected.
And Steppenwolf was pretty good. He wasn't like the most epic bad villain, but he kind of fit the role he was supposed to. And since we know he's leading up to Darkseid, He
Sure.
he did exactly what I was hoping he would. He was a cool character. They did a good job with him. It was just a good movie.
Yeah. And then of course, as I mentioned earlier, the whole Injustice teaser at the end, and I'm always been a Deathstroke fan, so the whole when he takes off his mask and it's he looked perfect. Like I'm ready for that movie.
That looks. I'm a little
Can't
turned
say
off the
that.
Deathstroke after playing. Yeah, that's true. That's all right, you can beep it out or cut it out.
Thanks.
Um, but I Deathstroke, I am turned off onto him a little bit because of this game, just like I was Castaway Green Arrow for a long time. I didn't want to see anything to do with Deathstroke or Castaway Green Arrow for the longest time, but I'll get over it for the movie.
Dude, he looked perfect. He fit the character. And then, Lex Luthor. I really feel like they took him aside and said, "Look, you're Lex Luthor. You're not the Joker. We already have a Joker in this universe. So if you could go ahead and play Lex Luthor now." I don't know where he originally got it for that Superman Batman movie, but it was like he was playing. He saw Heath Ledger and went, "Oh, okay, yeah, Lex Luthor, got it."
Yeah, he definitely seemed more tame, but it was only a 30-second clip, so I am a little nervous. I was hoping they would just have a new actor for Lex Luthor because he was so bad. And
And you think they just write him out completely and bring
yeah,
somebody new in and just
I
be like
just yeah, just
pretend like nobody noticed?
cast a
That'd
new
be great.
character. Just cast a new character. This guy was terrible. I mean, he was like I liked that movie overall, but he ruined that movie in my opinion. Between him
He
and the
was
whole
so bad.
and kind of the lameness of Doomsday. Um,
Yeah, well, I feel like, and we've obviously discussed this. I feel like they knew Superman is like he's awesome. He's a powerful guy. So they were like, well, we need someone for him to fight. Instead of if they'd have just cut Doomsday completely out of that movie and let Batman and Superman fight it out, and I think it would have been fine. They didn't have to bring Batman and Superman to that. They could have had them realize, like, hey, we're on the same team. And it would have, I don't know. Like you said, Doomsday, they kind of they pulled out their big gun early and they kind of wasted it. And now it felt like a letdown.
yeah, they could even had Wonder Woman come in and then they could have sparred with Wonder Woman or something. That would have been
That
fun.
would have been interesting at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So overall, I recommend you go see this movie. Hate Mail's going to go see it twice. So.
That I will. That I will.
All right. So hopefully next week's episode we will have the revealed characters, and we'll go into as much detail as we have, and we'll do some wild speculations on what they think they're going to be.
And did you like the show? Consider becoming a patron and get special show each month. We have a Q&A episode that we're going to air just for our patron members, and it only costs you $1 a month to have access. So check it out at patreon.com/WeRRRLegends.com. Actually, no, there's no .com after We Are Legends.
Oh, you're horrible. Thanks for listening. You're not going to say anything?
RRR